because Deanna says I can't click on the camera. I don't know why that is, but it's okay. As long as you can hear me and see me, that's what's important. I want to be able to teach you some awesome new things about your health today. And we do have this streaming live on Facebook. And so I'm just going to pop over to the Facebook real quick and make sure that people have the link so that they can join. And give me one quick second, and then I'm gonna start answering questions and having some fun here and teaching you some cool stuff. So let me just grab this, not this one, not this one, but this one. There we go. There we go. And now I got it.
There you go.
Okay. And now I see Deanna.
Dina.
Yay, you got it working. Awesome. All right. Now we're set and I can see the chat. Dina.
Dina.
Dina, got it. How are you today?
I'm good. Just got off another Zoom a minute ago. So I was like, I don't know why this one wasn't working. I was on the other one.
Yeah, it's a Zoom thing.
Yes.
I call them tech demons.
Yes.
They're always trying to get in the way of people doing
They are. It's
Yeah.
so much these days, but it does help work easier.
I'm telling you. Yeah, but there's a lot of tech involved. I mean, you saw me like, okay,
Yes.
let's get like 20 things going just to get it up and running. So, all right. And so let me just start by saying that anyone watching this, if you're coming on live with us, please feel free to jump on live. We like to keep these very personal and just love on you a little bit and just teach you the latest science, right? That's what we're all about here. And so if you don't know me, my name is Dorinda Smith, and I'm just one of those scientists out there in the world who knows the evolution of medicine, who has benefited from functional and holistic health myself. And I've literally helped thousands of people to feel better and feel better really in remarkable ways for most people, right? So long as people are willing to gain the knowledge, to learn the knowledge, and then start applying it with their lifestyle and their nutrition and their protocols, then people truly can get remarkably better. And this is the promise that we have today in 2024, is that the science has progressed. We're still waiting for conventional medicine to catch up with it, which is sad. Okay, but that's the way it is, right? And so rather than fight against it, we have awesome people like the father of functional medicine, Jeffrey Bland, and Dr. Mark Hyman, who are lobbying Congress to help, right? And to help to get the latest science into the medical schools so that the insurance companies will start covering the latest state-of-the-art testing, and we can all work at the root cause level, rather than thinking that alternative medicine, we're the only ones who are working at the root cause level. Okay, that's a little crazy. We really need to get all the corruption out of this. We really need to get big pharma out of this. And yes, they have their place. Okay, they have their place. But look, let's just bring us all together under one roof and use God's science the way it's supposed to be used, so that we can stop all this needless suffering. So that's me on my soapbox. I'm a research immunotoxicologist, and I did my PhD fellowship at the National Institutes for Environmental Health Sciences. That's our big branch of the NIH that has to do with toxins, basically. right? And so I'm specialized in autoimmune disease specifically. And so I usually start these things just by telling my story so you guys can see that this is why I do this work, because God created me to do this work. And I didn't even know it. But as a scientist, I started getting sick. And nobody could figure it out for about 3 years. And then lo and behold, I get told that I have severe fibromyalgia with scleroderma, which is one of the more rare and very dangerous autoimmune diseases. And of course, they're telling me that, well, get your affairs in order. The most you have to live is probably 10 years. And if you're really lucky, you might be one of those people that go 20, but that's really, really rare. And so get ready to end your career, get ready to go out on disability, get ready to go on tons of medication, because that's really all we can do for you. And I knew that this was true because I specialized in this field. So you can imagine the trauma that hit me and all the emotions and the disbelief and the, oh my God, no, and the, right, all the craziness that happened from that. And because I spent over $200,000, and not my own money, student loan money, but but because I was in school for 11 years and I was basically brainwashed in the conventional medicine way, and I'm trained at the very highest level in autoimmune disease. It doesn't get any higher than that. Of course, I believed it. When they told me, you're screwed, lady. Yep, I just believed it. Of course, I was screwed. Of course, I didn't know that people like Jeffrey Bland and Mark Hyman and Tom O'Brien and all these awesome pioneers of functional medicine were on another plane, right? Because I'm totally steeped in conventional medicine. I didn't even know that these guys existed at the time. There's a problem. There's a problem. Because they were already reversing autoimmune disease back then. They were already reversing diabetes. They were already reversing PCOS. Okay? They were already reversing heart disease. But the two sides did not talk to each other. And as a matter of fact, in my own PhD program, as a PhD student, you are taught to look at all the latest science, and you're totally engrossed in it, like all the time. And so one day I brought this big box. This is back before we were really using a lot of internet stuff, and we made copies of all of the scientific papers. And I brought this big box of scientific papers to my advisor. And I said, check this out. There's all this stuff about autoimmune disease and nutrition all over the world. Check this out. And he just basically poo-pooed it. And he said, yeah, if it doesn't come out of our American government NIH funded research, we don't trust it. Dory, leave that alone. Don't go there. Okay. I believed him. I loved the man. He was an awesome advisor. He's a wonderful Christian man. Why would I think not to trust him? He didn't know any better either. This is what I'm trying to tell you. There's this great divide, and conventional medicine thinks that natural medicine is a bunch of hooey, right? And it's not, because it saved my life. And everyone who has done functional holistic medicine and has done it right, okay, there's some woo-woo stuff out there, okay? But if they've done it right, if they've done it according to the latest science, and they've really given it their all, they haven't played with it, okay, they get better. And there are literally hundreds of thousands of awesome testimonies of people getting remarkably well. Maybe not 100% well, okay? We're not there yet, all right? Even me, myself, with 7 autoimmune diseases, I'm considered 95% healed. And I'm still working on some things. Hey, I'll take 95%, right? I will take it, because I am back to work being a scientist. I am living my dream of helping people. I'm no longer stuck in a lab, right? I can be here and I can be helping people and watching their lives change day in and day out. And I see now, I see that this is what the Lord created me for. And He had me go through my own 14, 15 years of suffering for just this purpose, right? And so it's all good. It's all good. And my biggest mission and why I come on here and why I do the Facebook Lives is just to tell people the truth. You know, whether you ever come to work with me, whether you ever spend a dime with my company or not, really doesn't matter. What matters is that you hear the truth and you take the truth and maybe not just believe me hook, line, and sinker. Go out and research what I'm telling you. You know, don't stick your head in the sand. I got to tell you a really funny story. Oh my gosh, I got to tell you a really funny story because it just happened today. Sitting in my new office, and the owner of the company that owns the office was here, and she was talking to a longtime friend of hers who was a man. I'd say he was about maybe 75, maybe around that age, right? And they were having this conversation about his wife being very sick. And the lady said, "Oh my gosh, I've got to introduce you to Dory." Okay, she just took her office space here and she's opening up her new brick and mortar and blah, blah, blah. I've got to introduce you to Dory. She's a holistic health practitioner. And the first words out of his mouth were, "Oh, bull, SH, you know." Okay. And I just laughed and I just did this in my seat and I just went, "Yeah." Because I'm a little bit of a spitfire and and I know I have the truth, right? Nobody can tell me that I don't have the truth. Nobody's gonna say bull SHIT to me. Right. And I just hopped up and just went, "Okay, sir, don't say bull you know what to me because I've got the truth. I've got the science backing me up. Don't stick your head in the sand just because you haven't heard it before. If you want to feel better," and this is a man with a gut like this, okay, obviously insulin resistant, obviously having problems as he ages, obviously walking towards Alzheimer's and dementia with a gut like that, okay? It's like, no, look, you wanna learn the truth? Here it is. If you don't want to learn the truth, right? So it's really funny that most people, because they don't even know what they don't know, then they think it's bull. And they think, oh, it's a scam. I mean, I can't tell you how many people on Facebook, when I start talking to people about the truth of the science, and people will go, "Oh, well, you're just a scam. You're just trying to make money." No, I'm an honest Christian woman who suffered probably more than you've ever suffered, or maybe close. And I'm telling you that this changed my life. And now it's in your hands. So what are you going to do? Are you going to actually look at the science? You don't have to believe me. Just go and look at it yourself, right? Just go and see the testimonies of people. Go and talk to other people. Do some investigation work so that you don't leave anything on the table for your health. Because I'm telling you, there is so much new science to help you feel better. There just is. And we're learning more and more every day. But if you stick with conventional medicine, you're not going to find it. You're just not. Because they're not doing it. They're not doing it. I mean, they're just starting to teach about the gut microbiome in medical schools in the last few years. And that should really piss you off because it pisses me off. I mean, we've known about the links. We have amazing scientific studies about the gut microbiome and how it's related to brain health, how it's related to immune health, how it's one of the reasons why we have long haul COVID and why COVID caused such dramatic problems across the board, across the world. is because of our gut microbiome health and how we have destroyed it with modern Western living. And we know this now, we know this, it's proven science, and yet it's just starting to be taught in medical schools. And that's really sad, right? But, the good news is that people can do their own research. People can actually see the truth. And even though it's not totally covered by insurance, most of it is not covered by insurance yet. Mark Hyman's working on that. There are big wigs in our field that are working on that. And it might be 5-10 years before we finally get things the way they should be, but at least now we can, excuse me, we can become the CEOs of our own health. We really can. We can take matters into our own hands. We can work with a scientist like me, along with our doctors, or a really good functional chiropractor, someone who's trained in root cause science, someone who knows how to do cellular regeneration and epigenetic resets and working at the gut microbiome level, working at the brain level, the neurochemical level, balancing your hormones, all of these things. Finding those root causes, getting rid of your toxins, getting rid of your invisible infections, and fixing your nutrition at the cellular level. All of this is what we do. And we wish that your doctor did that, but they don't. They simply don't. So right now in 2024, people have a choice. You can get well. Of course, you will have to, go outside of your insurance, right? And you will have to invest into your health, just like you invest into a tattoo, or just like you invest into that purse, or just like you invest into that TV, or just like you invest into your vacations. You are going to have to invest in your health right now, right? But the results that you're going to get, the benefit of your life and your health completely transforming, if you're willing to work at it, okay? Those benefits far outweigh any money that you have to invest in your health. And I can promise you that it will be if you do it, if you actually do it, if you're actually committed to changing your health, it will be the best thing you've ever done probably in your life, because the transformative, just everything that happens it's not just a physical thing that you're doing. Right? When you do this kind of work, you are fixing yourself at the genetic and the cellular level, at the emotional level, at the spiritual level. And it's a whole thing that happens to people. I mean, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. That is God's honest truth. And so, bottom line is, we do have the tools in 2024 to help people get an average of anywhere from 60 to 100% better, depending on their issues. And that's a fact. That's a fact. And I want to actually give a book title to everybody. And I don't make any money on giving you this book at all. Tony Robbins makes all the money. Tony Robbins and Dr. Diamandis. So if you don't know who Tony Robbins and Dr. Diamandis are, go look them up on YouTube. Tony Robbins is just one of the most famous billionaire gurus in the world. Okay, self-help, motivation, right? And he was very, very sick himself, for the same reasons that you're sick. Okay, for the same reasons, because we're all under a ton of stress and inflammation. We all have poor nutrition habits because our grocery stores are not filled with food, they're filled with junk. And we have destroyed our gut microbiome. We have damaged our immune systems, and that's why COVID was such a problem. That's why we have long-term COVID now. Okay, so he was sick for the same reasons that you're sick, that I became sick. And he had to work at the cellular and epigenetic level in order to get well. And he has billions of dollars, so he could hire someone like Peter Diamandis. But you know, the work that Peter Diamandis does is the same work that I do. It's the same thing. We do the testing. Okay, so take notes here. This is how you're going to heal. I'm getting ready to tell you exactly step by step how you are going to get your health back or make your health amazingly better. Okay, number one, you have to do the root cause testing. You are wasting your money right now if you're just, you know, doing the Dr. Google thing and someone on a Facebook page says, oh, well, try this supplement, try this detox, try this, try this, try this. It's a bunch of bull hooey, okay? If you don't know specifically what your root causes are. You're wasting money. You probably don't need half of that stuff that you're spending money. And let's face it, it's expensive. Okay, so step one is you do your root cause testing. And that doesn't mean that you go over to Rupa Health and you order it all yourself because you don't know how to read that stuff. You don't even know what it means, right? So you hire someone like me or a really good functional chiropractor, a really good functional medicine doctor, right? You hire someone that knows what they're doing, not just some new person in the field, because they don't. They'll just work at a little bit of gut health stuff. You don't want that. Okay, you want someone who's really working at that deep scientific level. So ask them, are you doing cellular regeneration? Are you doing epigenetic resets? Do you do genetic testing? Do you do cellular metabolic testing? If they say, huh, or no, we don't think we really need that, hang up the phone. They're not at the level that you need. They're not there yet. They haven't learned it yet. And I know that because part of my business, part of our mission here is we teach doctors how to read those tests, right? And so don't be fooled by that. Just let them go and either come to me or go to someone, you know, that you can trust. If you'd rather see someone in person and you're not in the San Diego area, then just find someone close to you, right? Or come do it with us virtually, right? But you gotta ask them, are you working at the cellular regeneration level? Are you trained in cellular regeneration and longevity? Are you trained in epigenetics? Do you know how to read my genetics? Do you know how to help me at that bottom line genetic and cellular level? Do you do hormone testing? Do you know how to balance my brain chemicals? Do you know how to do that work? Do you know how to test me for that? Are you testing me for all the root causes, including the toxic root causes, the invisible infections, the heavy metals, the plastics, all of this? Are you testing me for that? And do you have the latest scientific protocols that actually work to remove those toxins from my body? Because I'm telling you, that's where it's at. That's how you're going to get well. And I don't just say this because I'm an immunotoxicologist. I mean, you would expect it from someone who studies toxins on the immune system to say that it's all about toxins, right? You would expect that. But I'm just telling you that it's just the truth, right? Too many toxins in the body make people sick. And this is what we're seeing across the board. You've got too many toxins. You got not enough good guys in your gut because you've destroyed them all with the toxins. Okay. And then what happens? You're sick. Okay. Not a good thing. Not a good combination. And so step one is make sure that you do your root cause testing. And so what we do here is we sit down with you first. First of all, we want to make sure that you're a good candidate for working with us. Right. And so you will know whenever you talk to somebody from my team, they're always going to be asking questions to see whether you're really ready for this kind of work. You know, because this is not, it's not a boot camp, but at the same time, you know, it's not just, oh, okay, I'm going to change my diet and that's all I'm going to do. Okay. That's not enough. And it's not going to get you where you want to be. If you're going to spend money on a program, you want to make sure that you do it right. Gonna make sure you do a comprehensive program. It's going to do your testing for you. That's going to see your root causes, and we guarantee to find your root causes within the first 3 weeks of you working with us. Or if people choose not to come into a program yet and they just want to do their testing, order your testing. 3 weeks later, we're going to have some awesome answers for you that are going to light your eyes up, and you're going to go, okay, that makes sense now. Now I know, now I can start working on these things. And that's what it's going to take. Step one, get your testing done. And that means you meet with us first so that we can make sure that, we're a good fit. Okay, let's order this testing for you. Then you're going to have your answers. You're going to know what your root causes are. Now we design the protocols to help you personally get the results. And we're going to work very specifically. We're not just going to, okay, let's just work on some gut health over here. Right? No, we're going to work extremely specifically on your personal root causes. And this is how you're going to get results faster. Okay. Now, whenever I use the word fast, people always, because I know I was this way, everybody feels this way, we want to be better like yesterday. Right? We're sick and tired of being sick and tired. We want to be better yesterday. We all want that. But I'm here to tell you a kind of a hard truth. If you've been suffering with some chronic stuff for a while, that's been going on in your body probably for years. Okay? We got some work to do, which means that on average, it takes people like a year to 2 years to really get the results that they want. And I'm not saying that you have to wait 2 years until you see results. That's not what I'm saying at all. It just happens over time as you continue in that root cause work. And so we can't have unrealistic expectations about our health, right? We have to understand that nothing worth having is going to come quick and easy. And health is no exception. We're going to have to put some time into this, put some energy into this, make it a priority. And we won't work with anyone who acts like, well, I don't really have the time for this, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then probably a better program for you would be to go do maybe a Will Cole program or a Dr. Dan Papa program. And they're wonderful programs. They really are. But they're more, short, quick. Let's get you guys some bottom line results, but it's not the whole kit and caboodle, right? So a lot of people will go to a Dan Pompa program or a Will Cole program first, and they'll get some great results, right? And they will start to feel better, and they will be totally motivated now. And then they come to our program because here I'm a scientist. So, hey, that's just the way God made me. I'm a black and white thinker. I go deep at the molecular level. It's just the way it is, right? They have 9-figure businesses and they're geared towards, okay, let's just give people this little program that boom, 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 make lots of money doing it. That's all great because they're doing awesome work in the world. But then when you're done doing a program like that, you'll probably be ready for a program like mine. Unless you're totally gung-ho from the beginning. And we have lots of clients like that too, who are just totally gung-ho from the beginning. And they're like, no, I don't want to mess with the little stuff. I want the whole thing. All right, then we're the right place for you. All right. So, okay. So before I know, let's see, what time is it? I've gone for about 30 minutes. I do want to open it up for questions. But before I do, I wanted to speak very specifically about insulin resistance today. Okay. And I want to throw some information at you that you can go check. Okay. And I want you to check me out. I want you to prove me wrong. Go ahead. Try to prove me wrong. The truth is that statistically, we know that 87% of people walking around in the world today are actually metabolically sick. What does that mean? What does it mean to be metabolically sick? It means that's your basic level of health. Your metabolism has to do with your mitochondrial cells, which are your energy producing cells. And they're also involved in all chronic illness. Okay. If your mitochondria are sick, you are sick on some level. Okay. And so we know that mitochondria and the lower level of mitochondrial functioning has a role to play in cancer, autoimmune disease, cardiovascular disease, just like everything that you see, diabetes, MS, Parkinson's, even Alzheimer's and dementia, even emotional problems, even in mental health problems, even in ADHD in children, right? And so your mitochondria are like so important. I can't blow it up any bigger how important they are in your health. 87% of people have some level of mitochondrial dysfunction, metabolic dysfunction. And so we know that all of these people are walking toward some kind of chronic illness. Okay? But here's the awesome news. The awesome news is that your mitochondria love to heal. God created us that way, right? They love to heal. You just have to know how to do it. And really what it takes is it's not that hard. So I'm just going to tell you the truth. There's no magic here. Okay? The truth is that if you get rid of all the toxic overload that you're dealing with in your body, and if then so you got to get rid of the bad stuff. And then if you bring in the good stuff that you're missing, all the nutritional factors that you're missing, the vitamin D and the B vitamins and the polyphenols and all of the good stuff that you're missing, even if you think you have a great diet, because you're not absorbing everything like you should because you're overloaded with toxins. This is the catch-22. And this is why we are in epidemic levels of long haul COVID, of cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, ADHD in children, anxiety and depression in our youth. Okay, it's because 87% of people have metabolic dysfunction. But again, there's no magic here. You can fix it. You just have to learn how. Right? Now I'm going to take you back again to what I just said a minute ago. How do we fix metabolic dysfunction and help your body to now function optimally and get better? We identify your root causes. We fix those toxins. We get them out of there. We look at the cellular level to see what your cells are missing, and we bring those things in for you. When your cells have everything they need, when your gut health has everything it needs, when your immune system has everything it needs, and you're removing the barriers, you're removing the toxins, the invisible infections, the heavy metals, you will get well. You will get amazingly better. There's no way you can't, unless you go get hit by a truck or something, okay? And that's a completely different story. Then you're in heaven, you're totally happy, you don't have to worry about it anymore, okay? But it's not rocket science, is what I'm trying to tell you. Remove the toxins, bring in what your cells are missing, and you will get better, okay? And so, how important do you think it is that you find out your own mitochondrial function? It's pretty important. If we know that 87% of people are walking around out there just like ignorantly walking toward Alzheimer's disease, ignorantly walking toward cardiovascular disease. And I don't say that as an insult. I say it, people don't know what they don't know. They just don't. You know, like that man that walked in today. And as soon as he heard the word holistic, he said, oh, that's bull. You know what? No, he's just ignorant and he doesn't know the science. And him and his wife are suffering because he doesn't know the science and he doesn't really care to learn. He's just sticking his head in the sand. Not too wise, is it? When science is way ahead of this man. And he just doesn't get it because he doesn't think he needs to. Wow. Well, he's suffering for nothing. His wife is suffering for nothing. When all it takes is, okay, well, let's just learn. Let's just see what is available. And so I wanna, again, I got kind of sidetracked here because that's just me, but look up the book by Tony Robbins and Dr. Diamandis, and it's called Life Force. Okay? And read it. Read the book. Don't put it, yay! Dina says, yay! Don't set it on your nightstand and I'll get around to it. Okay, you're leaving your health on the table if you're doing that. Because as science is progressing, even we know way more than even what's in that book right now, because that book was written a couple of years ago. Okay, and then it finally came out from the publishers, and we've learned even more since then. Right? So you really do need to work with a scientist or someone who is trained in holistic or functional medicine, holistic health. And again, make sure that they're not newbies at it, because there's a lot of new people at it and they don't read the tests. They don't even do all the tests. They're just kind of working on your gut health. Okay. Don't go to someone like that. Okay. Not unless you're one of those people that you're not quite sure if you really want to do this, then you can go do that first as like a first step, you know? But if you really want to work at your root causes and you're really sick and tired of being sick and tired and you're ready to get busy and take your baby steps every day, spend an hour on your health every day, learning something new, taking this next little baby step for your health, trying that new lifestyle practice, right? Then you're ready for a program like ours, if you're ready for that. And oops, I gotta make sure that I get my speaker back on.
Mode. Bluetooth mode.
There we go.
Connection.
I think that's working now. All right. Okay, so I think I'm done being on my soapbox, and now I want to open it up if there's anybody on the live and they want to join in and ask questions, that's cool. And I know that Dina's here, and Dina says Hashimoto's husband was diagnosed with Parkinson's. Yes, it is overwhelming. Parkinson's, I'm sorry, Dina. Parkinson's is like one of the worst autoimmune diseases that we see. Okay. But I want to give you some hope, because there really are amazing new things that people can do. And even beyond what I can do here, right there. And I will find there is a YouTube video that I just watched like 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing. And I will find it for you. Okay. And Dina, are you in our, do I have your email in my system already?
I think so.
Oops, wait a minute,
no,
I can't hear you. Hold on, I gotta fix my speaker.
I got this on text.
Okay, good. Then that means
give
that
you
you're
my
in
email.
our system. And so let me just write down your name here so I can find you when we're done.
I just added my email.
B-I-N-A. Okay, good.
So I have them on several protocols that I found. I'm a heavy duty researcher on functional medicine.
Good for you. Good for you.
I go to Mountain View Church.
You do?
And
Oh, you're right here with me.
And I found my hairdresser told me about you, and I've seen you up front worshiping. So
Who was your hairdresser?
Amber.
Of course.
And then you
I didn't know you were local. I would have said hi earlier.
yeah. And so when I kind of heard about you and saw some of the things, I'm like, this could be the answer to prayer, that I could get some help, because I'm not a scientist. I am not that person, but I'm doing the best I can. And I do have them on pretty much all holistic things that are proving to work. But I do know it is stemming from his gut as well. Um,
It always is.
and I need somebody to help him, because it's not always the best listening to your wife.
It's true. Like when I try to help my granddaughter, same thing. Like she knows I'm right. She knows that, I do this for a living. She don't want to listen.
Yeah. So
What's
yeah,
your husband's name, Dina?
Kent.
Okay. I
Kent
think I
Hildebrand.
saw this come through the prayer chain too.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we do appreciate any prayers, and he is helping us with that, and even just with acceptance, but I'm not accepting it. And we're
Amen. Do not accept illness.
no.
Okay. There's
So
much
we can fix this, and we can stop the progression.
Amen.
And
Yes, you
we
can.
are looking for a divine healing as well.
Mhm.
And we
Always.
believe that with all our heart.
Yeah.
And my husband's a former pastor.
Oh.
So yeah, he can say his testimony from the mountaintops and reach, lots of people as well.
Oh my gosh, yes, 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 yes. And let me tell you something, Dina. Of course, we know that God works in, we always say that, we know he works in mysterious ways, right?
Yeah.
I am an absolute believer that when he does not heal instantly, it's because we got something spiritually that we need to work on with him. And he's using our illness to get our attention and get that work done.
Yes, absolutely. And I just, I'm sitting here listening to you, and I think it's an answer to prayer. I mean, and it's like several things have happened where it's right here in Ramona. I mean,
Isn't that crazy?
even his doctor that we found, a regular GP, is on this vitamin B1, high dose vitamin B1.
Okay.
The doctor's right here in Ramona, and it was
Excellent.
through a friend.
Yeah, who's your doctor?
Harper. Dr. Harper.
Hmm?
And
Awesome.
he has Parkinson's.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And yeah, I'm gonna have to I can walk to Dr. Harper's office, my office. I'm gonna have to walk next door and go, Dr. Harper, there's more you can do than just vitamin B1. Okay, there's way more you can do.
Yeah, that's what I need help with. I've read so many books and my head is full, and I don't know how to channel it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not that kind of person, but I'm doing the best I can. But yeah.
Well, that's why God made me the geek. Okay. I love doing this. This is my thing.
And I heard that about you through we're friends with Curtis on the worship team, and we know lots and lots of people.
He told you how weird I was?
And no, but that you're passionate about it, and that's what you do, and you're a scientist. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's right here in Ramona. God has given us everything.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. That's awesome.
Yeah. So so I'm excited to hear, the next steps and where we go from here.
Okay, well, just like I said, the next step is sitting down with the two of you and deciding what the best root cause testing is. Because it's a little different depending on what's happening. I can tell you with Parkinson's though, I know what I'm gonna need to see right off the bat. I know that I'm gonna need to see what's going on at the cellular level with his micronutrients. Okay, that means anything that the cells are missing right now. We need to identify what those are. And again, these are not the types of tests that most doctors do. They just don't do them. They will look at your blood levels of your B vitamins, right? Well, that's not good enough. It's just not, because look, you can have lots of good B vitamin floating around in your bloodstream, but if it's not getting through the cellular membrane and getting into the cell where it needs to be to do its work, and there's lots of great doctors out there who will do a blood level of B12 because they know how important B12 is. And if they see it high in the bloodstream, they'll say, oh no, you have to stop taking your B vitamins. And holistic people like me are going, you idiot. That means that it's not getting into the cell when it's high in the blood, right? And we're like, stop. People just need to learn, right? And so the types of tests that we do here, we're looking metabolically at what comes out of the cell once B12 goes in, for example, or B1 goes in, or vitamin D goes in, right? We want to see whether the cell has actually utilized that nutrient or not. Because that's
Okay.
all that really matters, right?
Perfect. Okay.
So we would do that kind of test right off the bat. It's called the gold standard of functional medicine testing because it literally looks at your cells from head to toe. It's looking at your brain cells, your gut cells, your liver, gallbladder, all of your organs. It's looking at all of your inflammatory markers. I mean, it is a very comprehensive test. The best that there is.
Half the time, you can't even get the doctor to run an inflammatory test.
Oh, I know.
And Medicare,
It's a spiritual battle, Dina. Yeah.
it's, I've been paying for doctors off insurance for years. So, I mean, it's just normal.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. So I know that I want to see that test. I also, anyone with Parkinson's, you have to do a full toxicity test. Very, very important because we know that toxins cause Parkinson's. We know that toxins cause all autoimmune disease and most chronic illnesses of most kinds, even cardiovascular disease. And so a full toxic panel is really important. We want to see the heavy metals and the plastics and the glyphosate and the pesticides and the herbicides and all the junk in between.
I mean, we don't have any idea what the root cause is. They're kind of iffy. We don't really know what causes Parkinson's, but
yeah, but
paraquat, it could be a brain injury or, which he probably has had many concussions.
And that's part of it. That is part of it. But that's not the whole picture.
Right.
It's not the whole picture. Okay. And even people with severe brain injuries who are leaning toward the symptoms of Parkinson's or any other ALS or any of those, more severe problems, right? You can pull them back and you can stop the progression of the disease and even start to make it better if you remove the toxins. If you find out what the cells are missing and start giving it back, right? And so I know that I need those two tests and possibly I might need an invisible infections test as well that looks for all the different like virus and bacteria and mycoplasma and all of that so that we can see if there's any living toxins that are contributing to the problem. And always, anyone who works with me, I always do a full genetics panel because we know that everybody has their illness depending on their own genetics, right? And we've known that for probably 40 years. We've known that. And yet doctors still don't do genetics panels because they don't know how to fix things. But the latest science does. There are there are many, many, many genetic issues at the cellular level that we can fix. And it's pretty easy to fix them. And this, this should really piss people off. Like I always give this example of vitamin D. When people are low in vitamin D, they naturally develop autoimmune diseases. It's one of those things, okay? And most people are walking around with low vitamin D. How come everybody doesn't have autoimmune disease? It's because you have to have a certain genetic problem plus low vitamin D in order to develop an autoimmune disease, okay? So I'm willing to bet, and I will eat my front bumper of my car if it's not true. I am willing to bet that if I do a test for vitamin D at the metabolic cellular level and also at the genetic level for your husband, that he is not only low in vitamin D, but that he also may very well have a genetic predisposition toward having low vitamin D. And
we both take it now. It's been years, but
you know, so you might have fixed that problem. And that's what I was going to tell you. You can fix a genetic vitamin D problem simply by identifying the genetic issue and then making sure that the person takes the extra over and above vitamin D that they need to keep their levels monitored between 60 and 80. Right? And then if you teach people that, hey, look, you've got this genetic predisposition, you are naturally geared towards being low in vitamin D. You cannot do that. You will be sick. So therefore, you will take your vitamin D and you will do it properly with K2 and fats and everything that you need in order to make sure that it absorbs properly. You will take it at this higher level. And then about every 3 or 4 months, you're going to retest your vitamin D and monitor and make sure that you're keeping it between 60 and 80. And you'll be surprised how much better people get just from that one genetic fix, right?
Oh.
Now imagine we find like 10 different things, which is pretty common in autoimmune patients. We're going to find like maybe 10, sometimes more different genetic things. And we teach the person how to fix all those things, just like that, just easy, like with foods or with lifestyle practices or with supplementation. Imagine people can get amazingly better just from that, right?
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And it works. It works.
It's probably what caused mine. I mean, I was low in vitamin D, on the couch after tennis, no energy, tested me, no D. I play tennis for 6 hours a week. I'm like, how could I possibly be low in D? I mean, I tan instantly.
Okay.
You know, I'm like, how can I not have D? It makes no sense.
Because you might have a genetic predisposition. So scientifically, if you want me to get totally geeky on you, because I'm having fun now.
Please.
Scientifically, we know that from all the toxins that have built up in westernized societies since the 1930s and 40s, with each successive generation that has gone since the 30s and 40s, we have built up more and more toxins in our bodies. And that has changed our genetic predispositions. It would take literally thousands of years to change genetic predispositions in a human population. But if you add toxicity into the mix, it can happen very quickly over just a few generations. And that's what we have today. And this is pretty much common knowledge amongst toxicologists now, right? It's not my opinion, right? This is just scientific knowledge. We know that babies are now born with over 200 very dangerous toxins in their bodies, brand new babies. We know that most children who will go on to develop autism, which we're at epidemic rates now. There's no reason for that except for toxins.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it does when you factor in the
I
toxins.
mean, yeah, I mean, like, why now, right?
Yeah, because these babies, most of these babies that have autism or Asperger's, they're either the first child of the mom or the second child, right? And how do you detox the best? By having a baby. And so these moms don't even know it. They're just beautiful young women who just got married and they're so happy to start their families. And it makes me want to cry. It really does. It just gets to me emotionally because they're so, they don't even know that they themselves are carrying high loads of heavy metals and cancer causing endocrine disruptors, and just they're carrying very high loads. And as soon as they make a baby, it goes into the baby and it detoxes mom,
Wow.
but it goes into the baby. And then if you start adding a whole bunch of extra genetic predispositions in that baby that maybe came from mom and dad, and then you start adding a whole bunch of toxins into that baby because you're feeding that baby Cheerios and goldfish, right? Or high carb foods, or many vaccinations at one time, too many toxins too fast, and these kids, their poor brains fall out.
Chicken nuggets.
Exactly.
Hence first grand.
Macaroni and cheese, donuts,
Yeah.
cupcakes, right? Right? And so, this is why we're all sick. And this is why all these different diseases are at epidemic levels now. But it also gives us awesome hope, right? And this is the hope that God gives us with the science, is that, okay, once we know these things, we can be the CEO of our own health. We can sit back and we can go, hey, stop. We're not gonna eat that crap anymore. We are not going to do this anymore. We're going to remove the toxins from our bodies. We're going to remove the overload of toxins from our houses. If there's mold in our houses, we're gonna get rid of it. We're gonna fix it. Right? If there's toxins around us, we're gonna fix it. And yeah, it takes work. It's a challenge. It takes some change. And so there are plenty of people out there who just want to stick their head in the sand and go, yeah.
I want to run in your door.
Well, God.
I'll be right over. No.
And my daughter just walked in too. She's about to walk in my door. Hey.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super excited. I'm super excited. And I'm just
really
like,
happy to meet you, Dina.
I'm just like, I can't believe it's right here, Ramona. So,
I'm so happy.
I'm looking at a doctor that's in Ohio, Dr. Hins. He's one of the top holistic doctors for Parkinson's, and he was in Tijuana, but now his protege is in Ohio. And I'm like, do we got to go to Ohio?
And it's expensive. And okay, now some of these like therapies that you might want to do, you might need to go down to Mexico. They will be cheaper to get done down there. That's true.
Yes.
And you may want to do some of those because we are talking Parkinson's here. Now, for you, it's a completely different story. Okay. Hashimoto's is relatively easier to make a difference in, right? But Parkinson's, you're at that place where you're probably going to need to do some deeper work, maybe some stem cell therapy, right?
I've looked into it. I just don't know. I have several of them that I've looked into, just don't know which one to choose.
Yeah, and I can help you make that decision at the right time, right? Not everybody needs stem cell therapy, right? Because you can make yourself do your own stem cell therapy, right? But is he progressing fast?
He was just diagnosed in August.
Okay.
We're insurance brokers. We have an insurance agency for Medicare. And we just finished a grueling open enrollment. with the departure of scripts from their Medicare plans. That stress progressed him. So the light tremor is now on his arm and down his leg a little bit, some stiffness. He's not going to take medicine, the pharmaceutical medicine.
He doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm have him on Mircana Perlins, which is a levodopa, and the vitamin B1 and lion's mane.
Good. Those are all healthy things. Yeah, all those things are healthy. They help. But they're still Band-Aids. They're,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
right?
still not, I haven't found the perfect fit. So
And that's why you do the testing.
yes.
So the testing identifies exactly what the toxins are and what his cellular deficiencies are. And then we can work extremely specifically for him. And it'll be the same for you too. You know, your things will be a little bit different than his, right?
Just a quick question before we ever meet.
Here for you.
Does having an unhealthy microbiome make him sensitive to supplements?
Sure.
I mean, he can't take like 3 at once.
Okay.
He has a hard time. Like even he felt nauseous today because he took the levodopa perlens and a couple other things before the gym, and he got nauseous. And
Yeah, so this is a very common problem. And we see it in most autoimmune clients. And what's happening is, yes, it has to do with the gut microbiome, but
Okay.
really the bigger picture is when people have a lot of toxic overload, the more work you try to do, if you do it too fast, the body just starts detoxing. Your body wants to detox, okay? And even sometimes just giving people a good smoothie will start the detox process too fast in people, and they get sick. They get nauseous, they get headaches, they get extremely fatigued just from drinking a smoothie. And you're like, why? It's because the body is doing the work. The body is starting to detox, and it's happening too fast for that person. And so it takes an expert to recognize this. Most people will go, oh no, I'm allergic, I can't do this. And that's not the truth at all. What the truth is that they're actually doing some work, and it's happening too fast. Their own bodies genetically cannot detox well. And at the same time, they're trying to do some detox work. And it causes a recirculation of those toxins. It makes you feel like crap.
I was
And
wondering why I can take everything and it doesn't bother me. He takes
that's nice.
something and he gets
That's
nauseous. I'm like, I don't understand. And
Yeah,
it's nothing
I
like
understand.
extreme. Like I'm not giving him 10.
I know. Now, let me tell you, Dina, some of my clients, they literally have to, just with things like electrolytes, which you would think everybody could take an electrolyte, right? Everybody can take some magnesium, right? Wrong. And some of these clients literally have to open up the capsule, pour just a teensy bit into their hand, just a teeny little bit, and lick it. And that's all they can take for a while until they get used to it. And then they take a little more for another week. Then they get used to it. Then they take a little more. And it's a maddening process sometimes. But
Okay.
when people are very toxic, it's pretty much the way it is.
Okay. I
Very
was
common.
just wondering what the heck's wrong with them. I
It's
didn't give
very
it very
common.
much. Okay.
Yeah, and you would expect to see that in someone who develops such a severe autoimmune disease like Parkinson's. How come he didn't just get Hashimoto's?
Yeah.
Okay, it's because I'm sure, like I say, I'm gonna eat my bumper if it's not true. we're gonna open him up and do those tests, and we're gonna see toxins across the board. You watch.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
gonna be, for him, for you, it's gonna be an easier, faster process. For him, it's gonna be a slow process. I mean, he can expect to be working on this and, at least a couple of years, and then definitely for the rest of his life, he's gonna have to do things differently.
Yeah.
Just like me, I'm the same way.
He's come to the realization, but I need somebody to help me do that. So that you'll be a good motivator.
I'm here
Oh,
for it. But
and then,
now, I do have a question for you though.
Sure.
Is he willing to do the work?
we'll let him decide that when he meets you.
Yes.
He says he is.
Okay. Okay.
So he's in doing something else. So
Mhm.
but now is this recording available on Facebook or
Yes,
you can listen to it? Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Now all of this did start kind of around COVID.
Another clue.
He got COVID in 2020, had the monocrobial infusion,
Mhm.
and because he was considered obese. And so they gave him that infusion, got COVID again last January.
Mm,
COVID, the Parkinson's symptoms, he got COVID again in January. Parkinson's symptoms started in February.
yeah.
Literally,
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, and he never regained taste and smell from the first COVID.
Okay. Okay. And, it's extremely common. We're seeing COVID as like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Precursor.
His
Yeah.
metabolic issue with him being considered obese, his metabolic issue has been around for a long time, right? His toxic overload has been around for a long time. And this is true of all autoimmune disease. It doesn't have to be COVID. It can be anything. It can be traveling and being exposed to, some little virus or anything. It can be anything. It can be a huge stress load. It can be a divorce or a death in the family. Anything that tips the person, that straw that breaks the camel's back, and then all of a sudden they go from being just a normal person that might have a few little chronic issues to being full-blown autoimmune disease. And the fact that your husband went straight to Parkinson's, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And, we can't play around with that. We have to get in there, get his testing done, see exactly what the root causes are. That's only going to take a few weeks. Okay. Get those tests back pretty quickly. We can identify that pretty quickly. And then it's a matter of pulling all the right experts together to get the right therapies. Okay. Now I've got a bunch of them, but I'm not going to have all of them. Okay. And we may need to send him down to Mexico. We may need to send him to a stem cell treatment place or do some hyperbaric oxygen. I'm getting it here in this office, but probably not for another 6 months, and he can't wait. So, we're probably going to have to pull some other experts together and make this happen. But what I hope to be for you, if he chooses to work with us, is I hope to be that central hub, that scientist in your back pocket that can actually help you to make the right decisions moving forward and get results as fast as possible.
I just didn't want to throw away $10,000 on STEM therapy when there's another one that'll be just as well, and I don't know the difference between them. And
exactly, and yeah, I want to give you some education too on stem cell therapy. While it's awesome, yes, it does do some healing at the root cause level. Typically, if you're not identifying those root causes and specifically working on them in other ways besides the stem cell treatment, you are still going to have the problem. You're still going to have those root causes. And what I have seen people do, which just blows my mind, and I just get really upset when people do this. If you're really, really sick and you think that the stem cell treatment is going to save your life, and you're not working at the root causes very specifically, you're just going, your whole, all of your eggs are in that stem cell basket, okay? Number one, that's a place of ignorance because it's not the truth scientifically. We know that these people will need another stem cell treatment 6 months or a year and a half down the line. And why is that? Because the root causes are still there,
Okay.
right? And
Makes
so
sense.
isn't it intelligent to work on the root causes in
Makes
every way
sense.
that we know how, in every way that God gives us? It's very wise to do that. And then if you still need a stem cell treatment, okay. But the thing about stem cell treatments, now there are new ones coming out that are a little bit different. But a traditional stem cell treatment is going to add more toxins into a person's body that is already overloaded with toxins.
Oh.
Like poof. Okay, not necessarily the smartest thing to do. It's the same thing with cancer. It's the same thing with cancer. You know, now if you really have to go in there with chemotherapy and radiation to save a person's life, it's the same thing with stem cell treatment. They go in with chemotherapy, right? They are actually damaging your cells by trying to save your life. Okay, there's a little bit of a disconnect there. Now, if it saves your life, great, but down the line, you have just caused more damage. You have just caused more root causes that now you have to fix.
Hold on. My commercial's playing on TV and my husband turned it up.
So you can hear your commercial.
Oh God.
Awesome.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
fun.
so that's why before I would say, yeah, go down to Mexico, get a stem cell treatment, right?
Let's work on this first.
Let's make sure that we identify the root causes first, so we know exactly what we're dealing with here, right? Let's get him on a really good diet. Let's get him working on his root causes. Let's get him, adjusting his lifestyle practices, making sure that we've got all of our ducks in a row. We're working on everything that God gives us to work on, right? Then if he still needs a stem cell treatment, let's look into some of those stem cell treatments that are better on the body,
Mhm.
right? That maybe don't use chemotherapy and radiation, but still have some great effectiveness, right? Because that really is usually the smarter move to make.
Okay.
But hey, you know, we can get great natural stem cell therapy just by fasting,
Yeah,
you know?
I try with him.
Well, you know, let's face it, okay, fasting is a huge challenge.
Yeah, I'm not great at it. I can go 12, 14
Uh-huh.
and that's it.
Yeah.
But he needs to work on it a little bit more.
And I've got an easy way for you guys to get over that hump. Have you ever heard of a fasting mimicking diet?
Yes, I did Prolon.
Good.
Yeah,
Did you
I
do a 1 day or did you do a 5 day?
5 days.
How did it go?
It was fine. I felt like I was protein deprived on
Okay.
it.
Okay. You're not. You're getting what you need. But
Yeah,
your body is super, super low in protein to begin with. We would have to do your testing and see. And maybe that's why you felt that way.
yeah. So, but yeah, so yeah, something like that would be great probably for him. I
It's a lot easier.
will do 3-day water fasts here and there. So
Good for you.
try to get that metabolism going. It's a little slow too, so
Well, you got Hashimoto's, and that means that you've got some toxins and they're attached, right? They're on the cells in your thyroid.
okay.
And so we really have to remove those toxins from your body. Otherwise, hey, you can eat perfectly and fast all day. You're going to get some benefits. And
Yeah.
you're not going to completely fix the problem unless you're really working very specifically on those
Okay.
root causes.
Okay. Yeah, I tried the acupuncturist. I don't know if you're in the same building as Gathering Blue Acupuncture. She did a detox with him with zeolite.
Okay, how long did she do it for?
He probably did it for a couple weeks.
That's all?
Yeah, and then he stopped. I tried it and I got depressed.
That's an important clue. I cannot wait to see your genetics, Deanna. Or Dina.
Yeah,
Dina. Sorry.
yeah, it made me depressed. I couldn't do it.
It's
So-
detox. Okay. And we're going to find some different genes in you, probably a COMT gene, maybe a glutathione deletion. We're going to find some different things in you that, so when you try to detox, and zeolite, let's face it, zeolite is a very strong detox agent. You should never be doing detox. Maybe I need to go across the street and talk to this sweet lady. Because we should never use zeolite in people that we have not done a significant amount of gut work in first. And I mean, when I say significant, I mean 4-6 months minimum.
Wow.
Okay, because otherwise you're going in with zeolite and you're causing a detox reaction in people who can't detox as well. I mean, that's why they're sick in the first place. And so it's too strong, too fast. And yes, it can make you depressed. It can cause migraines. It can cause extreme fatigue. It can cause people to fall right out. It's just too strong.
Wow.
Okay. So it's a mistake.
Okay.
It's a mistake. So I need to walk across the street and.
Well, good luck with that. She's a doctor of acupuncture, so.
It's okay. That's part of my business here too, is that
she's young and I know she doesn't know the practice all the way yet. She may have learned some things, but some things don't work, and I'm like, well, I can't be any more depressed than I already am. So,
yeah, with Hashimoto's, you're naturally depressed with Hashimoto's.
Oh, okay.
It's part of having Hashimoto's. It's affecting your gut health and your brain health. Okay. And so it naturally causes people to have anxiety and depression. Right?
And I'm pretty happy-go-lucky person most of the time. And then when you throw a brick on me, yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to meet you, Dory. And
I'm really happy to meet you too.
We'll just call the office and set something up.
I can set it up for you now if you want.
I'll have to get his calendar. I won't know.
Well, then let me write down this number.
Okay.
Ready? Okay, 760-315.
Okay.
1021.
Okay.
Okay, and call us up and we'll set you guys up with an appointment and you guys can come on in. We'll sit down and talk and we'll see what your husband wants to do.
Yeah, and I'll look at it on Facebook and get him to listen to the recording. And I'm so excited though. I just feel totally blessed. I get help here in Ramona.
I'm happy. Don't you just love the way the Lord works things out?
I'm amazed every day.
Every single day. Every single day. Because me and my team, that's like our number one prayer. We pray together every morning as a team. And always, I don't think they ever leave this out of the prayer. We're always praying that the Lord brings the people that need the help. Yeah. Right. And he brings the right people, who can do the work. Right. Who are not just going to get mad at us if we tell them, well, you need to stop buying that, what's that brand of creamer at the grocery store?
Coffee Mate.
Yes, it's loaded with bad oils.
Palm oil.
I'll never give it up. Yeah, I don't want to work with people like that, right? I want to work with people who are like, okay.
We're already doing a lot of stuff, but we probably can do more, right? There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, and it's important that we also remember, like when you're embarking on something like this, Dina, that none of us are perfect at this. You know, I just had some C's candy the other day for Valentine's. Okay, and this stuff is nothing but crap, okay? And it made me cranky because it affected my neurochemicals. So, I tell you that just to be transparent.
Right.
None of us are perfect at this health thing. We're God's creatures, we're sinners, we make mistakes, right? But the point is that if we're willing to be intentional about our health, if we're willing to learn new things, if we're willing to take those baby steps and put some time
Yeah.
into learning how to get healthier, we will get better. God will bless that.
Right. Well, good.
You
Yay.
know?
I know. So I'm so excited. But I'll get working on him, and I think he really does want to take control. He just needs my assistance with, he has trouble navigating and putting things together now.
Mm.
Like reading, I mean, I have the Parkinson's book that with this vitamin B1, and he hasn't read it, but I read it in half an hour. So, there's that challenge a little bit too.
He's lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you.
You're a
I'm
good
lucky to
mom.
have him.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for taking the time, and I'm so excited.
I'm so happy that you were here and there
Praise
was
God.
just one person that I could talk to today. That's another weird God thing too.
Oh, really? There's nobody on
Being
Facebook?
interrupted with, 10 other
Other
people jumping
people.
in.
Oh, well, maybe it was meant to be.
Yeah, awesome.
Very
Okay,
good.
so you got my number, give me
Yes.
a call. I'm in the Coldwell Banker building but I just got this office. I've been working out of my home for the last 7 years.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
The
Yeah.
Lord just gave me this new office. I've been asking him for 2 years. He finally gave it to me. And so we're right here. Yeah, but better to make an appointment because you never know. I'm usually, talking to people. So,
Very
so,
good.
so yeah, so
Okay.
I
Well,
look
we'll come in
forward
and
to.
see you together and get started. Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a
Take
blessed
care.
rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Have a
Bye.
good evening.
Bye.
Bye.